Yeah, maybe I'll watch this as well. Maybe I'll watch this.
48 countries played in the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals, 16 more than last time. That opened the door for some tiny countries, like Cape Verde, population 500,000, and Curacao, population just 150,000. They made this World Cup feel like the biggest ever. They also made two absences, impossible to ignore. India has 1.5 billion people. China has 1.4 billion. It's about 9,000 times more people than Curacao.
Okay, chat. I hope this video covers this, but also, not only is it 1.5 billion, imagine the overlap in citizenship, in family, grandfathers that are of this country that they could have as a pool of potential players. We're talking, we're talking about probably a third of the entire planet is probably eligible to play for India if literally a third of the planet.
Found 11 good enough at football to qualify for the World Cup.
For heaven's sake, in India, 150,000 people is a medium-sized wedding party. That really hurts.
But the strangest part isn't that China and India aren't in this World Cup. It's that they're never in the World Cup.
Why not, though?
China has just one appearance. India has 0. That's fewer than Wales, Haiti, or even North Korea. You'll often hear that China and India simply don't prioritize football. They prefer and dominate other sports. And while that's partly true, I don't believe it lets them off the hook for the World Cup.
No, because
according to the
some of
data,
them don't
China
care.
has 200 million football fans, and India has 136 million. That's more than some countries who make the World Cup all the time. So the question isn't why aren't China and India interested in football? It's how come they can't turn a huge amount of interest into talent.
It's a matter of great frustration.
Infrastructure.
There does not seem to be a sense of national outrage.
And what's possible if they could.
Football is the sport. China knows this.
It's not genetics. It has nothing to do with it. No, it doesn't. Literally less than 5% at any given time. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Culture and infrastructure resources is literally 99% of talent development. Literally, as genetics is like 1%. Like it's like nothing.
Any country that wants to make the World Cup, let alone play well in it, has to turn its children into elite players.
Stop LARPing.
Pretty much.
Now tell us why NA fucking League of Legends is so shit. It's like the kindergarten of professional play compared to Korea and China and other regions. Explain why North Americans can't get a single kill when there's other fucking Asian countries in some tournament. Because they fucking suck dog shit. It has nothing to do with DNA. It has nothing to do with genetics. They suck. It's culture, infrastructure, like I just said, resources, same thing.
All of them use a system shaped like a pyramid. At the foundation is the most basic necessity, space to play. Whether it's pristine grass pitches, a turf field, or a concrete lot with some goalposts, the more the better. Europe has more than 400,000 pitches. That gives as many kids as possible a way to play, even casually. In the middle, there are organizations that keep kids playing as they age. That could be in school, in weekend games, or in academies. Further up are layers of football leagues. In England, there are more than 11 levels, ranging from semi-professional leagues all the way to the very professional $8 billion a year English Premier League. Ultimately, a pyramid should work like a conveyor belt, delivering talent to the national team, which plays at the World Cup. The most effective pyramids are wide at the bottom and virtually seamless all the way to the top. That allows prodigies.
Now explain why women are worse at chess than men. I just said it. I said culturally, right? It happens less. Women are less directed to play chess. It is. How is that a question mark? It absolutely culturally, women are less pushed or it's less intended that they will play chess by a massive margin, and it's not even close, man. It's not even close.
Like France's Kylian Mbappe, to be spotted young and accelerated toward the national team. And for late bloomers, like Germany's Deniz Undov, to get a second chance.
Last pause. People always say genetics about everything.
When are you streaming?
Because they feel some form of superiority over who they are, over other people. When it really comes down to it, You're not that special. You're not that special. And that makes people feel like they lose control and they're not as good as they are. It makes them feel like they don't have a leg up anymore. And now they feel all insecure. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass.
At 14, Undov was dropped from a club academy for being too small. While working in a factory, he kept playing in a low professional league, then slowly rose all the way to the national team.
Without that low professional league, Undov might have quit. Instead, he was Germany's breakout star at this World Cup, scoring 3 goals in the first 2 games.
Holy.
Now, India and China's problem isn't that they don't have football pyramids.
It's proven to be
It's that
true.
theirs
What are you talking
don't
about?
look
Proven to be
anything
true.
like this. And India's is in the worst shape. Running a business often means using one app for sales, another for accounting, another for inventory. Thanks again to Odoo for supporting my work. Now we'll get you back to the story.
Okay. Chat, genuinely, who do you think ends up being a better player or learning more? A player that's a bronze player that gradually plays bronze, silver over the span of 10 years, or a guy who is put in as a bronze player in a game of challenger players only for years. The guy that plays in a challenger lobby, even for a year, you dump him in a plat lobby and he fucking destroys everybody. Genuinely. The guy will destroy everybody, even at plat level, just based off of he's soaking all the information from everybody else because he's in an infrastructure that has all of that. And then that has secondary effects on the actual subject. Imagine a place where some guy, you're the only diamond player in your entire country, and every time you play with people, it's only with and against bronze. You're learning nothing, and if you're learning anything, it's slowly because you have to develop it yourself. That's insane. You're going against the grain. Yet it happens that some guy from another country, yet he become a star. It's incredibly rare. You're talking about an anomaly. That's not
There was a
talented.
time, before my time, in the 1950s, when India was a serious football-playing country.
Bobby Ghosh writes about geopolitics and, when he can, football.
India was an Asian power. India made it to the semi-final stages in the Olympics. It was invited to participate in the World Cup. There are all kinds of legends around why it didn't go.
One held that FIFA wouldn't let India's team play barefoot. In reality, India preferred to focus
Then
on
why
the
are you
Olympics.
so shit at Rocket
What
League
India
when you
may not
always-
have realized is that it was passing on its best chance to play in a World Cup. In 1971, India beat its former colonizer, England, in cricket.
That's going to be it, giving India a victory here in the Oval Test match.
The victory set off a wave of national pride that exploded a decade later when India became world champions.
Chat, if every country tried to play cricket and everybody logged on cricket, these guys still win. I mean, yeah, culture plays a massive role. Yet, and they have a lot of people too, but...
By the 2000s, cricket was king.
I mean, no,
And
facts.
India invested heavily in a cricket pyramid, while neglecting to build a football pyramid. At the bottom, there simply aren't enough ways for Indian kids to play. In its 2023 strategy documents, India's Football Association admits that there is relatively low
India would be
participation
world
because of
champions the
irregular
second they
level of
attend
formal
a World
activities,
Cup just
lack
by
of
how skilled
facilities,
they are
and
with
not enough
cooking with their
trained
feet.
personnel.
Alright, mods on my
Countries in
phone,
FIFA's top 100
I don't
typically
even know
have
what
between
the
0.7
fuck.
and 5 licensed coaches per 10,000 people. India has just 0.06
Wait, hold on.
licensed coaches per 10,000 people. India has just 0.06.
0.06?
Even the kids who start playing often run out of places to play. In 2023, there were less than 100 development clubs, according to the All India Football Federation. The very few players who make it into India's Super League have to deal with constant chaos.
When the AIFF put the Indian Super League's commercial rights up for sale, no one showed up.
No fixtures, no answers, only uncertainty.
Players are begging, clubs are collapsing, Indian football is bleeding.
While the Pro League fights to survive, the national team is hamstrung by problems with its governing body. The All India Football Federation officials are constantly accused of corruption and harassment. In 2022, it was temporarily banned by FIFA. The result is a messy patchwork of a pyramid that doesn't develop nearly enough talent to make a good national team. India's highest FIFA ranking in the past decade is 94th. There is one functioning part. In northeastern India, more people prefer football over cricket. And they've built their own mini pyramid with a bottom, middle, and top. As a result, northeast India often supplies almost half of the players on the national team. But India needs more than one region to make the World Cup. India started qualification with a win over Kuwait, but was eliminated after losing to Afghanistan at home. Bobby's concerned how little outrage it caused.
The same 6 people
Chat.
and their dog.
Explain why there's not so many people in the NFL from other countries, and other countries aren't very good at it because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit. Nobody gives a fuck except America about American football. How does that not tell you everything to know that there is about what I said earlier? Nobody cares. They don't want to do it, so they don't the infrastructure. I'm sure that some of these countries, most of them, hadn't even seen in real life or had it in their hand an American football ball. I'm sure 99% of most of the countries, 90% of these residents haven't had an American football ball in their hands ever.
Myself included, who agonize about this every 4 years are agonizing about it again. I've not detected anything to suggest that a larger group of people are upset.
The decades of disappointment seems to have stuck Indian
What is that
football
saying?
in a vicious cycle.
Not enough people are interested enough for a politician to care. And because a politician doesn't care, there's not going to be a change. And because there's not going to be a change, people are not going to care.
But while India isn't trying hard enough to get better at football, China's trying too hard. Xi Jinping loves football. While climbing the Communist Party ranks, he was pictured playing football, collecting jerseys, and he often expressed 3 wishes for his
That's
country.
nice. I mean, that's nice. I
1.
don't mind
Qualify
that.
for the World Cup.
I mean, Chad, was that a real photo? I mean, that was kind of cool, no? I mean,
China's trying too hard. Xi Jinping loves football.
not
While
bad.
climbing the Communist Party ranks,
Shit, Chad, that's a goal.
he was pictured playing football, collecting jerseys, and he often expressed 3 wishes for
Wait.
party ranks. He was pictured playing football, collecting jerseys,
Chad, is that Argentina, Xi Jinping jersey? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get
and he
that?
often expressed 3 wishes for his country. 1. Qualify for the World Cup.
That's
2.
maybe one.
Host the World Cup. 3. Win the World Cup. That made Xi a powerful ambassador for what seemed like the only sport China wasn't good at. For decades, the party identified and controlled young athletes' development. The top-down approach turned out champion divers, gymnasts, and table tennis players, but never a very good football team.
Football has to be a grassroots sport, which means bottoms up.
Journalist Mark Dreyer wrote Sporting Superpower after more than a decade covering Chinese sports.
Chad, whatever investment that they have into the sports, it'll be in 15, 20 years, right? Because it has to be from the moment that they're born, literally.
If you think about a diver who wins Olympic gold, they want to be able to do the exact same dive again and again and again with absolutely no difference between the dives. If you think about a football player who does the same move again and again and again, they very quickly become pretty easy to defend against. So you need creativity, you need flair, you need the opposite skills.
China's men's football team failed to make a World Cup.
Okay, that's an oversimplification and a very kind of odd. And if you learn to master all the moves, if you learn to, even if it's very linear, at that point the person now has more in his tool set and they can use all these tools. I mean, now you can be creative and master. Though I mean, it's irrelevant.
Until
what you're saying.
2002, it scored 0 goals and conceded 9. A humiliation that Xi was determined to redeem once he became China's leader. In 2015, his government released a master plan that said all the right things. China would build its pyramid starting at the bottom. It pledged to build 70,000 pitches, 20,000 training centers, and get 30 million children playing football regularly in school.
That's not enough.
It promised to strengthen the middle with academies and advanced leagues, and at the top, help turn the Chinese Super League into one of the world's best.
It's a
It
start.
encouraged corporations to buy Super League clubs and sign stars that would theoretically improve the competition. The ensuing spending spree made even Europe break a sweat.
Chinese teams spent more in the first 2 months of the year than
Chad, just imagine everybody that has parents, grandparents from China, citizenship or whatever. Like, it is Jover. In like 10 years, China wins every time. It is what it is. Because when their team is actually good and has a chance, all the people that have citizenship and parents, grandparents, then now everybody's Chinese. Oh yeah, I'll vote for China. Fuck it. Like,
top
and you know that's gonna
Italian,
happen.
French, German, and Spanish leagues combined.
Real Madrid, PSG, and Chelsea are no longer the hunters, but instead have become the prey.
Now how it
China's
works.
master plan looked-
Now it works. Now explain all the teams this year, and why were some of these guys not there last year, 4 years ago, or a decade ago? Where were they? They weren't there. Because they know the opportunity. Oh, these guys have a chance. Then, no, once they made the decision, you can. It's not that you can swap. You can make the decision for who you're gonna play for. Oh my God, I can't.
Great on paper until it crashed into reality. Millions of young kids started playing football, but most had to stop once they became teenagers. Preparing for China's very rigorous Gaokao exam left little room for sports. It left a huge gap that prevented all but the very best from rising into the development programs. There, they were subject to relentless drilling that didn't make them great football players, no matter how hard the state tried.
Doesn't have the patience for implementation. How can we turbocharge this? How can we shorten the time? The answer is you can't, but that's not an answer that they want to hear.
Then the lucky few to reach the Super League faced constant dysfunction. First, China postponed the season when COVID-19 hit. Then a real estate crisis crippled owners' finances and eventually caused several Super League clubs to fold.
I did need to hire some top people from other countries and to start developing the core knowledge into the coaches and so that the knowledge goes down the slide.
When things couldn't get any worse, a match-fixing scandal erupted.
The former head of China's Football Association being given life sentence for taking bribes.
Chinese football has handed lifetime bans to 73 people for match fixing.
The reputation of the league is being tarnished, an own goal for Xi Jinping's Great Dream.
To make matters even worse, the party divided the pyramid between political bodies and every few years assigned new leaders, regardless of experience. Like the one who told Mark the national team's problem was pulling players from rival Super League clubs.
And I'm thinking, well, yes, that's just how it works, how it works all over the world. But this guy was thinking like, oh, I've got a brain.
Every time that the topic of soccer comes up, corruption is right next to it. It's the next word next to it. Why is it like that?
Anyway, and I looked up his background. This guy had recently been promoted from the Sewage and Waterworks Treatment Department. Non-footballing people making footballing decisions.
China tried to engineer a football pyramid from the top down and ended up starving its national team of talent. By 2026, it was ranked 91st in the world and failed to make another World Cup.
China was eliminated by Indonesia. Obviously, China's a long way from winning a World Cup. But Xi Jinping seems to have also abandoned his dream of hosting one.
I think that the calculus from the senior leadership is that any soft power benefits from hosting the World Cup would be severely outweighed by the humiliating performance by the national team on the pitch. And so they figure, well, we don't want to do that.
Neither China or India are...
Easy. You just pull a strat where you pay some top people to get citizenship or whatever, right? You pay, and then you build a super team of paid actors. I mean, it's too easy.
Investing in the resources or time needed to make the World Cup. But why aren't they using a shortcut? Cape Verde and Curacao didn't make the World Cup with only native-born players. Both recruited foreign-born players whose parents and grandparents were native-born, something FIFA has allowed for decades. 15 of Cape Verde's 26 players were born abroad, as were 25 of Curaçao's. These players lifted their teams through qualifying and, for Cape Verde, into the knockout rounds. India and China also have diasporas, big ones, but neither is recruiting many players from them.
What is a diaspora? See, I told you, Chad. Chad, that's what I was saying. By like a third of the world. Like that's what I'm saying. Like look at the overlap.
One reason is citizenship. While Cape Verde and Curacao allow their players to keep their original citizenships, China and India require players to become solely Indian or Chinese citizens. That's something few are willing to do, especially while China and India's teams are terrible. Back in the 2010s, China convinced some Brazilian-born players to switch, but they didn't make a difference on the national team.
I think, honestly, the problems run much, much deeper than that, and it wouldn't be fair to expect a couple of foreigners to come in and suddenly turn things around.
India is leaving more talent on the table, especially in Europe. There are several players on European clubs that are eligible to play for India's national team under FIFA's rules. But until India's government changes its rules, they can't.
If you ask people for an explanation, you don't really get a good one. There's a lot of hemming and hawing, and eventually what it comes down to, well, it's always been this way. It makes no sense.
That could change if the government passes a proposal to create a sports passport that would allow dual nationals to represent India. A few foreign players won't turn India into a World Cup contenders overnight, but it could lead to a surprise win. And India knows better than any country what a surprise win can do for a sport.
Success breeds success and breeds more interest. I think something similar needs to happen with football.
If there's anything I've learned from this World Cup, it's that the rest of the world is getting better. A lot better. Tiny countries took on giants and held their own. They use this World
Check, Canada won, and everything that is happening right now is LARP. It's LARP. Canada actually won the finals. Real
Cup
shit.
to get on
He's
the
right.
map
He's
and
right.
gain the kind of soft power
He's
that
right.
goes beyond football. So it's strange to see two rising superpowers miss out on all that because of their governments. India's government has to realize what a difference a little change can make.
India wants a permanent place in the Security Council. India wants to host the Olympics. India wants to be counted among the world powers. Being good at football, on top of all the other things that India has to.
Chat, Canada would rather lose fair and square than beat the USA and get a red card overturned and still fucking lose. Bang! Bang! Truth nuke! Truth nuke has been dropped. Boom! Truth nuke!
That would be a cherry on the cake.
And China's government needs to gain a little patience and give up a little control.
I personally think it would be fantastic for China, but without China changing its system, it's not going to be able to allow this grassroots system to flourish. And China's not going to change its system.
On the bright side, China and India are closer than they think to a World Cup. They have the manpower and more than enough interest.
Yep.
All right, thanks so much for watching. That's the end of our world.
Chat, something that everything that will happen in sports, esports it happens to esports already. Okay, like, I'm not kidding, because esports is at home. It's in most people's homes now because it just takes a device. If people care, they have access to a lot of it is mobile games. Mobile games, you have access to a mobile game. You do a mobile game. And realize when China cares, they win. It is what it is. I mean, people want to call all they want. It's fine. It's true. As soon as China cares about something, a game or whatever, then they win. It is what it is. Boom. What video? Stop comparing sports to esports. Esports is one of the best examples. You can predict the future of sports with esports. Absolutely 100%. You can do it both ways, right? The overlap is insane because it displays the impacts of culture. It does. Absolutely it does. I mean, dude. These things have been proven to be right over and over again. Fudge you for not believing in me. That's my best take I've had all year.